Hello and welcome to Bag Only, an inventory-only Ultimate Ironman account on Oldschool Runescape. In this series I will be restricted to my 28 bag slots with no additional storage allowed. This means no containers that I can transfer items into and out of, such as the looting bag or the rune pouch, as well as no death piles or item retrieval services like Zulrah or Vorkath. Along with having no bank, I will also be unable to use the costume room, clue scroll stashes, or any other interface or NPC that allows item storage. The only exceptions will be quests where I have absolutely no other choice. Basically, I will have to lug my gear, supplies, and quest items with me at all times, or risk them despawning on the ground. The ultimate goal here is the quest cape, so with that, let's get into it. Hello guys, welcome back to Bag Only. Thanks for tuning in. As you might remember in the last episode, we got ourselves some actual melee gear finally. Got the Helm of Neats, got the Dragon Defender, got the Dragon Scimitar, so now we're ready to actually do some Slayer. But just to start off, I'm going to do some quests. I'm going to do one small favour, because I want that juicy XP lamp for Herblore, but to do that we also need to do Shiloh Village. So first protocol is going to be those two quests, and then we'll see where we are. So what we do is we talk to this guy outside, and we say that we'd like to get access to the village because there's cool stuff in there. But later we find out it's cursed by some evil jungle ghost or something, which is why we have an array of quest-looking items in our inventory, so we can go help them with said ghost. So first thing we have to do is go speak to a shaman. So we show this artifact to the shaman Trophitus, and he tells us about some ancient legend of an evil spooky guy called Azaroon. So what we have to do is go get rid of Azaroon. First thing we want to do is go all the way over here. So we're not walking because we're not chumps. So this should be Azaroon's evil tomb or something. So what we do is we dig a hole, drop a lit candle down so it lights up the dungeon inside, and then we just tie a rope on the edge as ever, and then we attempt to climb inside. Don't foresee this quest going too badly. So we grab ourselves this strange looking stone. It's a stone plaque artifact. And then we venture deeper into the cave. Search more rocks. It seems we need to grab a whole bunch of stuff from this little tomb down here to learn about as a rule. Search the gallows. Take the skeleton, and then we need to go bury him in the middle of Taibo One Eye. So I think we will tally out. We should be able to just bury these by this tribal statue. And a ghost appears and gives us a spooky scroll, so we read about what's on the scroll. Then to continue the quest, we head south to this place called Cairn Isle, run across this bridge. We did this for Taibo One Eye Trio, and then there should be some rocks at the top that we can search and head inside to a little spooky dungeon. So hope we don't fall in the water. Yes, lovely. Anyway, here's the aforementioned little rocks you can search. Hopefully we get inside. Cool, we're agile enough. And so inside the Cairn Isle tomb we find a ivory sword handle which we use our chisel on to turn into 3 beads, and then we put these beads onto the bronze wire that I brought at the start of the quest. We turn this into the Beads of the Dead, a necklace we'll be able to equip in order to access the spooky dungeon for the next portion of the quest. Should be next to the fairy ring where the Crambons are, yep. So once again we'll just tally out. Right, here we are, Crambon fishing spot, south of Moosa Point, DKP, on the fairy ring. Just run past the Shy Khan, who's still alive somehow, even though we killed him during the Taibo One Eye Trio quest. Hopefully he leaves us alone long enough for us to get inside here. And there we go, we found spooky doors because we're wearing this amulet. And then what we do is we bring 3 bones with us during this quest, because you do need to use normal bones upon the door in here, just to gain access inside. Now normally what you do during this little mini boss fight in here is you just hide behind the stone table and use mage or range, ideally the Crumble Undead spell, because it's really good against this guy because he is an undead. What I'm going to do is just pray and use our D-skim and our potatoes and hope for the best. Think we'll be okay. Don't remember this quest being particularly difficult. Hopefully this guy doesn't drain our prayer, because I didn't actually bring any prayer with us. Shouldn't be too hard because he does only have 70 health, so hopefully his health drains quicker than our prayer. But if not, we've got a little bit of backup food and one more sip, so we should be okay. As far as I know, this is the last part of the quest. Once we kill this guy, then we have access to some remains that we pilfer from this tomb, and then we take those back to Cairn Isle to give someone a proper burial, and then doing that basically exercises the spooky jungle ghostiness. Thank you for freeing my spirit from the spooky dude. And there we go, we get some crafting XP and access to Shiloh Village. 61 crafting, the ability to make the split bark helm, that's kind of fresh. 9 more crafting levels for Quest Cape. But a whole lot more if we actually want to make something like a Glory or a Fury later down the line. Right, here we are, Shiloh Village, now accessible by talking to this guy. Also, we can get in and out of Shiloh Village with a really well-placed cart up in Brimhaven. There's actually a dude just to the right who can take you down to Shiloh Village in one quick fast travel. It just costs 200 coins there or back. Also access to the Doradel Slayer Master, who requires 100 combat, who lives up here. One of the main things we have access to, though, are these gem rocks, where we technically can mine and have a 1 in 25 chance of mining a ruby, towards the 225 I think we have left for our dig site pendant. The only issue with these is you have like nearly a triple chance to mine the gems successfully if you're wearing a glory. So I'm not going to mine gem rocks now unless we need them for a quest, for example an opal or a jade. But what I'm going to do is just talk to this guy, and also use all our quest items from the previous quest on him, and see if he'll buy them, because I think he purchases some of the notes and stuff from the last quest we just did for a few coins. So there's about 2k coins just for giving him the junk from the previous quest, so that's really helpful. So we need an absolute ton of stuff to do one small favour, famously. It's like 20 quests in one, so we're just going to have to sort of do the quest as it comes. And then as soon as we hit a roadblock where we need some kind of item, then I'll just go get said item, so yeah. So for those not in the know, how one small favour works is basically the guy inside Shiloh Village asks us for an item, so we go talk to this guy who will give us the item, but he wants something himself, and then starts a long quest chain where we go talking to a bunch of different people who each want a different item to give you the item you initially show up for, so it becomes quite a long quest, running around the map, searching for things for people until we can finally get one for the very last guy, and then we go through everyone again in reverse, handing all the items in, and then finally we end up back in Shiloh Village and we give the initial guy the item he asked for. Obviously we're doing this quest not only for the 2 10k XP lamps you get at the end, which are absolutely both going into Herblore, which is going to make a huge difference, 20k Herblore XP, but we're also doing this because it's a direct requirement for both the King's Ransom and the Swan Song quest, which are both kind of important quests that we do want to complete relatively soon. Here we are in the Ham hideout, just doing a favour for the Ham guy for some reason. I thought he was bad, but I guess maybe we've all resolved our differences for the sake of XP books. Just going to grab a rune pick just because I guess we can afford to, and then we'll go make our steel bars and our iron bar that we also need later. The reason I'm opting to spend so much on a pickaxe is because during this quest we actually fight a rock elemental enemy, and having a good pickaxe means we can hit on him much better, so... Hello mate, I need some special chicken cages, here are some steel bars, but he also wants something from the apothecary first, so he wants a lid for his pot. So during this quest we actually learn the ability to create pot lids. Okay, in order to be taught how to make pot lids, we need to go deal with a dwarven gangster back in the dwarven mines. So at some stage during this quest we will need to nip off once again to get some more items. Specifically we need a couple of herbs in order to create a herbal tea called a Guthix Rest. It's just some hot water and an empty cup and a bunch of different herbs, so chances are we'll have to nip 2 Chaos Druids and rough a few of those up, just until we get 2 Guam Leaves, 1 Marantil and 1 Haralander. Relatively low level common herbs, so it shouldn't take too long. Just a note, by the way, on the way to these dwarf gangsters, one of the funniest things I've seen on the RuneScape wiki, and there's actually a money-making guide listed for picking up this bronze chain body repeatedly and hopping worlds. As you can see, it high alts for 36, and it currently sells on the GE for 100 coins, so if you want an absolutely amazing moneymaker, hop worlds inside the dwarven mines picking up these bronze chain bodies. So to get rid of these dwarven gangsters, we need to get one of the dwarves inducted into the Tavily Druids circle. I don't think the druids take dwarves, I think they only take humans, so we have to go talk to the druids and convince them to take this dwarf into their ranks. Then he'll stop harassing the pot maker in Barbarian Village, and then subsequently yada yada all the other quests can be completed. Okay, here we are in lovely Tavily. What I'm just going to do at the behest of Quest Helper is grab this cup of tea on this table here, and what you can do is just drink the tea, and then you've got yourself a very easy empty cup. We can make our own weird tea thing. But we also need to go pick up a pot and some other things anyway. So we'll go grab a pot, we'll grab the herbs that he wants for this herbal tea, and then we'll come back and continue the quest. Alright guys, there we go. That's our little trip of Chaos Druids done for this quest. Here's our last Guam leaf. We put all the other herbs inside the Marantil, the Haralander, and the other Guam. So that's a completed Guthix Rest. So what we should be able to do now is head back to Tavily, take this cup of tea over to the top of White Wolf Mountain, and give it to a very thirsty plane driver. Pilot is probably the word. Okay, I'll go get you some trash. Awesome, so now we head over to Catherby. Ahoy, my favourite NPC. I can't believe he's part of this quest. He really helped us out at the start of the series when we got our first 100k fletching in Catherby. So for the trash, we first need a weather report, and who better to tell us the weather than a seer up in Seer's village. Okay, to get our weather forecast, we talk to this guy with the strangest name in all of RuneScape, Fanstu Tui Farsight. No idea either. Now we head to get the item for this guy. Okay, here we are in the Goblin Cave beneath the Fishing Guild. Just need to search this person who's locked inside the wall here. And it says, go talk to Wizard Crompety to save me. So we'll go talk to Crompers. I need a reanimate rock scroll spell or something. But of course he wants something else from this guy down here, so we'll go get his next thing. So the merchant at the dock wants a mattress. And for some reason we're going down to Rance, the ogre from the chompy bird hunting quest. And we're getting a mattress from him, which honestly, dude, just cannot be nice to sleep on. Maybe it's made of chompy feathers, I don't know. So this guy wants a nearby gnome clearing out to give us his mattress. What it is there's a gnome guy over here, and he's constructing a new landing pad for the glider system, which is awesome. Another reward that we actually get from this quest, the ability to use the gnome glider to and from the Feldip Hills here, south of Gutenoth and Yanil. So that'll be nice. For this specific portion of One Small Favour, we actually need to replace some of these landing lights. So where the gnome's gone wrong is he's put uncut gems into each of these landing lights, which isn't going to work. So we pull them out, we cut them ourselves, and then we pop them back into the landing lights correctly. The only issue is some of these are the kind of jungle gems. As you can see there, they can be crushed. So we'll have to talk to our guy here and say, hey, we broke the gem, can I get a new one please? And as far as I know, he will sell us one for money, 500 coins for that one. So with the lights all fixed, that should be the end of the picking up favours half of this quest. So all we need to do now is go backwards through everybody we've spoken to in reverse order and take them all the items that they initially asked for until we get all the way to the guy in Shiloh Village at the very end. So we stand in the room here and read the scroll. It should speak out the spell, but we accidentally miss the sculpture and instead reanimate some rocks. So as you can see, we're making short work of this guy by using a pick on Crush, and once this guy is down we can actually correctly reanimate the poor lady who was stuck inside the stone. She disappears. Not going to take any of this garbage, but I will take the ruby, because we always want rubies. Right, back through our Camelot portal to Seer's village. Help her out with her weather vane. We've got our steel bar, iron bar, and hammer in order to fix the weather vane on the roof. Right, here's Arhine's weather report, so he gives us... Doesn't he give us trash? Yes, I got my trash. Lovely jubbly. Okay, we've done the favour for the Tavley Druid. He says he'll induct the dwarf guy into the druids, but we still for some reason have to kill 3 of his dwarf cronies. So yeah, let's do that. That should be it. Now we can head back to Barbarian Village and learn the secret of pot lids, then head back to Varrock, Apothecary, then to Horvik, then to Farmer Groats, then to the Lumbridge sheep shearer guy, then to the Ham guy, then to Witch Aggie, then to the Portsrim Axe guy, then back to the Jungle Forester, then back to Shiloh Village, and then we'll be done. Here it is, guys. With our red mahogany log from the Jungle Forester, we're done with the quest. Get a keyring to store keys on that we're going to drop immediately because we can't use. And also 2 XP lamps, 10k each. Pop both these bad boys into Herblore. We're starting at 47. There's 48. Super anti-poisons and Avantos. That's 49. And a decent progress on the way to 50. Not a bad quest, took a little while. Yeah, relatively painless. Once again, what we unlock with that, the ability to make Guthix Rests, the ability to make pot lids, a glider over to Feldip Hills, obviously the keyring that we're not using, and then those 2 XP lamps. So not bad. And so that's Shiloh Village and One Small Favour out the way. Really, really good to have those done. So next on the cards is to use our melee equipment and really get started into some Slayer. Here we are on our 30th Slayer task in a row. Our Slayer's only level 50. We need to get to 69 at least for Questcape. Anyway, Bloodvelds here, which are really nice, doing the ones in the Catacombs because obviously they're higher level and have better drops. It's really where Slayer starts to take off. I've also bought the Superior Monsters Slayer unlock with just the preliminary points that we got. I also unlocked the Lizard Man tasks, because they're always nice to receive. We can always go try Shamans. In between, I'm going to be doing as many tree runs as I can to get our farming as close to 70 as possible for Questcape, and the same with bird traps through birdhouse runs to get our hunter to 70 as well. I did say Bloodvelds are where Slayer kind of starts to take off at level 50, but this task specifically is really good. We're hitting consistently with our melee gear here. These guys seem to have some kind of quite low defense. They also have 170 health each, which is really good because obviously everyone we kill gives us 170 Slayer XP. So that's really nice. And we got a really hefty task of 136 of these. So I think we're going to get about 2 full Slayer levels just for doing this task. As you can see, the cash stack's also slowly creeping up. They do drop fire runes, so all you need to do is bring nature runes in order to alch things. And they drop a bunch of nice alchables, kind of medium value stuff, adamant chains and mithril battle axes, stuff like that that's worth like 2 or 3k, but it's definitely worth alching. But yeah, this is a really good Slayer task, really enjoying it, and also we should get ourselves, I think, 90 Slayer points for doing this, which will only put us to 113, but it's nice to have. Oh damn, he's thick! So here we go, our first ever superior on the account, an insatiable mutated Bloodveld, 410 health. The average Bloodveld in here has 170 HP, so this guy is a little bit more tough, so we'll just sip up on our combat pots. But yeah, for those of you not in the know, when a superior Slayer monster spawns, they do have their own superior drop table with a few nice uniques on there. Some combo elemental battle staffs. There's also an Eternal Slayer gem that lets you make an Eternal Slayer ring, which is a Slayer ring with unlimited charges. And, ooh, what did we get? Let's have a look. Hard Clue, Dark Totem Base, just a lot of stuff. What happens is they have their own drop table that it rarely can roll with the few uniques I was talking about, but then the superiors also drop a couple of rolls of the normal variant that they are as loot. So for that one we got ourselves some ashes, we got an ensouled head, and we got ourselves a battle axe that we've alched. Now I'm also alching these ensouled heads, sadly, because of the change to the Arceus spellbook. Once again we need 72 mage just to reanimate these 50 Slayer creature heads, which is really stupid. Another thing we got here was the Dark Totem Base. This is one of 3 pieces of a Dark Totem you can use here inside the Catacombs of Kourend in the middle in order to have one fight against the Skotizo boss. Right guys, just taking a quick break from that task. What I'm thinking of doing while we've got a little bit of cash is actually building a player-owned house altar room and making the Gilded Altar the best prayer altar available. Just because I feel like it would help being able to sacrifice bones in our house for double prayer XP. Just find the chapel, 50k. Okay, here we are in the builder's store. Let's have a look what it is we need for our Gilded Altar. We need 2 of these marble bricks, which are 325k each, and then we need 4 of these gold leaves, which are 130k apiece. The reason an altar is nice is because we can refill our prayer anytime we're in our house instead of having to go over to the Ardy Cape spot. If we offer bones to this altar instead of burying them in the ground, then it gives us 2.5 times the XP, but it's just nice to have a prayer restoring source in our house, since we actually can't use the prayer pool just yet. However, I did go back to our house and just really quickly put the 2 incense burners in our new prayer altar room, just so we have the option of burning like a Marantil or whatever it is for an extra 100% prayer XP if we do decide to come train some prayer here in future. And so I went and did a whole bunch of Slayer. I really tried to do as many skips as possible, i.e. doing 9 tasks from Terrail in Berthorpe, just doing whatever garbage tasks he assigned, like dwarves, spiders, whatever it was, and then every 10th over at Konar for maximum Slayer points. I did a couple of these 10 skip runs. Did a few tasks such as Bloodvelds, Dagonoths. I tried to make an effort during to do as many birdhouse runs as I could be bothered to, as well as farming the resulting seeds from those, and planting any kind of herb seeds or secondaries we got on Slayer task. So yeah, not super interesting, just did a whole bunch of Slayer. When I would need to restock, I'd go to the Warriors Guild using the jewellery box in our house, the games necklace over to Berthorpe, and then I'd just drink some of the potions from the potion shop, drop them on the floor, and then just fill my invent with cheese potatoes from the food shop, and then just get back to our task that way. Using full proselyte, our full bar of prayer would last about 4 minutes protecting melee, and then we'd have to swap to just eating food. Throughout we got ourselves 67 Hunter from our birdhouse traps, which is the level for black salamanders, which is obviously a wilderness activity, so it's not one that we're going to be doing, as I don't want to lose all my items in the wilderness. I also just passed 73 woodcutting by cutting yew logs for these birdhouse traps, so that's nice, getting closer to that 75 for potentially getting magic logs in future. Did a couple of easy clues as well, not really been including these, just any ones that I could actually do with stats and locations that I had unlocked. I did a couple of the equipment step ones that were actually achievable. For example, there's a certain step that just requires leather gloves and leather boots and a desert shirt. All that stuff's buyable around Lumbridge and Varrock, so if I got that step I would do those easy clues and make an effort to open them on Intrana to try and get those Godbook pages. Sadly, none of them have really given us anything of note so far. The odd few purple sweets and runes. I think we've had a Gothics page 4 and maybe an Armadil or Bandos page as well so far. So yeah, it's not been entirely interesting. just here in the Gnome Stronghold because I'm making toad flax pots, and the secondary for those is, of course, toad legs, which we can just go grab up north near the pond, make agility potions, and then just drop them on the ground. So yeah, gonna do that. Look at this absolute lad making potions with Avantoes. We got 50 herblore, guys. What I'm doing is I'm just making us some fishing potions. I know. Incredibly useful potion. So that's 50 herblore. Really nice. So for our 50th Slayer task in a row, I was assigned Hellhounds in Witchhaven Dungeon, which is an interesting task. The door is locked, however. I guess I need to do the lever thing that you do during the quest. I don't even remember what quest it is where you come in here, but... So these Hellhounds are a little bit harder to get to than the ones in the Kren dungeon that we previously did as a task. They're underneath Ardy, so I've been Ardy cloaking and kind of running from there. It's still a decent task there. We do hit on them a bit. They do have decently high defense, and they do drop hard clues sometimes. Hopefully we can complete a hard clue soon, as our record for hard clue steps I think was 2 steps complete in a row before it threw us a curveball with a wildy step. So and this is our 50th task, then this should award us with 270 Slayer points, which is absolutely crazy. We should have almost enough to be able to buy the upgrade to make Slayer helms, and we'll definitely have enough to buy broader fletching, so we'll go have a look at the task unlocks in the Slayer shop once we've done with this task. Wow, sooner than I expected. That's 55 Slayer. 55 Slayer is a nice little milestone. It lets us unlock Tauroths, which are kind of a rubbish monster to kill, but with those comes a ton of Slayer gear. Obviously you get the leaf-bladed weapons. You're also able to cast the magic dart spell and wield the associated Slayer staff, and then you can also use broad bolts and broad arrows. So now we're technically able to learn broad fletching and make use of that. So we might do that after this task. I guess it depends whether in the next 3 levels before we unlock Cave Horrors that we can feasibly get another 400 points for Slayer Helm. If not, then I think I'll go Slayer Helm unlock first, just because it is vastly more important, and then we'll go kill some Cave Horrors off task, secure the Slayer Helm as soon as possible. So I did a little bit of farming in between our Slayer tasks. I went and gathered some cactus spines from the patch over in Al-Kharid that I'd previously planted with a seed from a Dagonoth task. I used these cactus spines to protect a yew tree over in Varrock, just because there is a diary step to dig up some yew tree roots from a tree that you've grown, so we're going to set that going so we can do that diary task later. Also managed to get a teak seed, so I just gathered some limpwort roots from hobgoblins as before, just so we could protect this and make sure we get the XP. Hey guys, that's Hellhounds complete. As you can see, that was our 50th task in a row. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to nip over to Berthorpe and take a look in the Slayer Reward shop. Right guys, here we are at Terrail, just grabbed another dwarf task because this guy absolutely despises dwarves, but we'll go do that in a sec. So what we can actually do is unlock the Malevolent Masquerade upgrade, which allows us to craft a Slayer helm. Like I said before, we do need 58 Slayer in order to kill the Cave Horrors that drop the Black Mask, which is the primary component of the Slayer helm. Since we're not currently ranging too much, I'm going to wait on getting broad fletching. Just for now, I'm going to just unlock the Slayer helm. Then it's done, it's dusted, it's out of the way, we've secured that. We don't have to worry about it in a couple of levels' time. Took a little break from that, got ourselves 62 farming. With that level we can grow snapdragons, which is really cool, and we can also use the Garden Pie boost now, +3, in order to get into the middle room of the Farming Guild, which contains the Hespori boss. So that might be interesting coming up. Right guys, just here getting some limpwort roots to protect this teak sapling, and I got a Hobgoblin Champion scroll, which I think is like 1 in 5k, so I guess we'll go do that. And in the meantime of doing these tasks, we also hit 63 farming from checking all our trees. 7 more levels for the Questscape level of 70 farming. I also completed Tears of Guthix in between here, and we got a smithing level, almost 2 smithing levels, so we're now almost 48, which is nice because once we get 50 we unlock a couple of quests, I believe, and also the ability to mess about with myth bars. Alright guys, we're in a new location. Just nipped to the Woodcutting Guild to deposit one of those bird eggs that you can get out of nests that give you a little bit of prayer XP. While in here I decided to come in and try the Ent Cavern just inside the Woodcutting Guild, and you get noted logs, which is really interesting. When it comes to doing birdhouses, I'll just be able to unnote logs instead of going to chop yews for a bit. Save a little bit of time, and I'm going to get some combat XP doing this anyway, so... There's 56 Slayer coming in. And in just 8 more kills, we'll be on 59 tasks in a row. And then we can go pick up our 60th task over at Konar, hopefully get something good. Just quick stats check here on the end. You can see all the stats we're currently dealing with, 1483 total. Just trucking away, getting our melees a little bit higher, and our Slayer a little bit higher. Okay, what we're going to get? Hellhounds in Witch Haven again, wow. I feel like I've never done that task before, and I've had it twice in a row on this character. That's kind of weird. I guess we are kind of limited by the quests we have completed, so there's a few monsters and locations that we don't actually have access to. But yeah, kind of strange. Hey guys, 64 farming coming in. Wasn't expecting this, but I got it from actually planting a maple, which is kind of strange. So yeah, 6 more farming levels for that illustrious 70 for Song of the Elves and Questcape. And also our hunter will be 69 on the next birdhouse run, so we're really cracking on with these skills. What I am just going to do, actually, just because I want this stupid scroll out of the way, is just go do this Hobgoblin Champion scroll. If we read it, it says, "Come to defeat me in the Champions Guild, Champion of Hobgoblins." And obviously we have the 32 quest points to get in. I think all we do is go downstairs and we just fight like a level 12 enemy or something. You're not allowed to use melee in the... Oh Christ, have I wasted it? Luckily he doesn't hit on us like at all. Like I say, these guys are super low level for some reason. There we go, 200 Slayer XP, 200 hit points XP. See, it's terrible, but we got our music tracks. So yeah, that's the Champions Challenge out of the way. Hello again guys, you catch us once again as usual on Fossil Island. We're going to get ourselves a tasty and very funny level. It's 69 Hunter on the account, that's one more level. And we're done with Hunter basically. So 70k more XP, so about 70 more birdhouses because they're around 1k each. So, I guess the RNG never stops, does it? Here we are back on our 60th Hellhound task, and got the Smouldering Stone, because of course we did. We got the Hobgoblin Champ Scroll, and now we pulled this. This is like a 1 in 32 and a bit thousand from a Hellhound, and obviously this is an item you can combine with a Dragon Tool in order to make an Infernal Tool. God, the luck on this account, it's always in places where we don't need it, you know? I don't know. Crazy. So also during this Hellhound task we did actually get a hard clue that we were able to complete. I think it was 4 steps. So yeah, here's the casket from that one. Ooh, that is a lot of money and an MSB. That's really good. How much are these in Alex? That's like 120k, right? And then we'll keep the MSB. Dude, that is so good. That's a really good clue. As you can see, that's our first hard treasure trail. What I'm also going to do is just open these 5 brimstone keys, because I'm currently on, I think, task number 61 or something from Terrail. So we're going to be doing 8 more Terrail tasks before we go back to Konar. So I think we'll just go get rid of our brimstone keys now. And then we'll see what we get. Maybe some more alkables or something. Let's see what we get. 487 steel bars, dude. Broken Dragon Haster, that's got to be kind of rare, right? See, that'd be really good if we hadn't got the D-Skim already, but I don't know what to do with that. We'll probably alk it. What was that? Oh, it was 92k coins, okay. 1 rune plate, kinda sad, but still a lot of money. And then 4 rune full helms. Dude, we're so rich on rune. And then probably another 30k if we alk this Haster, which we probably will. I'll go repair it at Otto God Blessed up at Barbarian Fishing because it's free, just in case the repaired version is a collection log item, I'm not sure. And then I guess we're probably going to have to make these steel bars into something. Interesting item, the Dragon Haster. I don't really understand why they added it to the game. It's worse than just like a regular dragon sword. It's certainly worse than a D-Skim. If we equip the Skim and mouse over the stats, same speed but 6 less strength, 12 less accuracy in its best style, and it also gives you -12 to -15 in every defense bonus while it's equipped. Considered valuable. Yep, bye-bye. And so we've got a 512k cash stack. We just got 390k in a short amount of time. I mean, obviously that doesn't factor in the time to get the clue and the keys, but hey, Konar Slayer good, basically. So yeah, I just decided to use some of these steel bars just to make some steel arrowheads, like I said. I ended up equipping almost a stack of like 7,000 steel arrows after this, which was kind of nice. Our fletching ended on 64. We just used the rest of the steel bars just to make steel junk, like plate legs or swords or whatever we could, and then just sold those to the general store. Ended up with our smithing level on 49, so 1 off that level 50. Right, okay, we've got some farming stuff in our inventory here. Went and bought the chef's hat again and bought some garden pies to boost our farming. We're still 1 level off being able to get into this side of the farming guild, but with our delicious pie boost, should knock us up over 65, and we should be able to run inside according to the wiki. So what I'll do is I'll just plant a willow here, and then while inside I'll plant this Hespori, and it can be growing, and then at some point down the track we'll come back and we'll fight him. I think it gives you like 12k farming XP if you kill him, so that's really good. I've got these 2 palm tree seeds as well, which I did get from turning in that spirit seed and opening the seed pack. They're really, really good fruit trees, but they are level 68, which means we can technically plant them next level with the +3 boost. I just need to hang on to them for the next 5k farming XP. So I think that's definitely worth doing, because palm trees will be crazy good XP once we check those, and will help us get ever closer to that 70 farming for our quest cape. Okay, so we carried on and did some more Slayer. I did some ghost tasks, stuff like that. Did a 70th task over at Konar, which was Fire Giants. Got ourselves 58 Slayer while doing that. In the meantime, also got ourselves 65 farming just by doing trees in between. After that task, we got ourselves some Konar keys to open, so we unlocked some Konar keys here, got some iron and coal noted. So what I did is I just ran and grabbed a cannonball mould, just turned all these into steel bars at the Edgeville furnace with that Varrock plate body 1, and then turned all those into cannonballs just as a stackable thing that we could craft at a furnace for a little more smithing XP. I wasn't actually planning to use the cannonballs, just wanted to get as much smithing XP as possible out of that. And doing that got us 50 smithing, which is really nice. That's obviously a level for a bunch of quests. You unlock like the golden helmets you can do between a rock, and it's also the level for myth bars, so we can mess about with myth bars, make like myth daggers, things like that. Alright guys, just doing a little bit of hunter here, and with this birdhouse, there's 70 hunter, the level required for quest cape, probably Song of the Elves, seeing as most of the skills we need are for Song of the Elves. But there we go, 70, a real easy grind, just doing birdhouses, not actually done any proper hunter, apart from a couple of small things just for diary tasks or whatever. Still not actually done Eagle's Peak to unlock box traps, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, that's hunter complete, at least quest cape wise. Obviously I will still carry on doing these birdhouse trap runs, because obviously this is our sole source, more or less, of decent tree seeds. As you can see here, got a pineapple and a palm from this one, so really good farming XP there, and we still need those 5 farming levels at least, so gonna still crack these on, but that's another skill done completely for the quest cape grind here. Right guys, we've just done a little bit of Slayer. Here's just a check-in of our invent. We've got all sorts of garbage. Have been using this nice MSB for a couple of tasks, just safe spotting with all the steel arrows we made. It's made a few of the tasks kind of a lot easier. So we've got some Slayer points, just going to grab a new task, but we're not going to do that right now. We're here specifically to spend our reward points. We've got 361. We've already bought the Malevolent Masquerade, and we are the level to make the Slayer helm. So before I do any more Slayer, I will go do Cabin Fever, and then we'll grab a black mask and make a Slayer helm, so that'd be nice. But right now, I'm just going to buy Broad Fletching, because we do have enough points left just for a few skips if we get awful tasks. So what we could actually do now is buy broad arrowheads, make broad arrows with fletching, and obviously also we can make the broad bolts when we go grab our rune crossbow, so that's really cool. Just quick stats check, I did get our range up to 64 because I have been doing some range, like I say. Do want that to 70 just in case we get a Carol's crossbow or something. Done a little bit of magic as well, so that's now 67, and we've got like 2 prayer levels, I think. The majority of this was from burying both big bones and doing Tears of Guthix this week. So there's the stats, there's the invent. Yeah, back to the grind. Right guys, got ourselves a Hespori seed here, and we've got ourselves a fully grown Hespori, so I'm going to attempt this. Basically just protect mage and keep hitting the guy, and then as soon as we get entangled, make sure we spam click to unentangle ourselves. Hopefully that's enough iron knives to kill the plants. I think they only spawn 2 or 3 times, so should only need something like 8 or 12 knives. I only brought iron because obviously the plants always die in one hit. Might get a combat achievement for killing this guy. I've not looked at the combat achievements yet on this account because there's really no point. We don't even have the Slayer level to complete the easy log yet. If we had 60 prayer here we could do chivalry, it would be slightly easier, but there we go, first Hespori kill on the account. So I'll just go outside, go buy a dibber from the farming shop, plant this other Hespori seed in so it's growing for next time. Good to know that we can quite easily do this. Just need to make sure we have some kind of quick ranged weapon switch to kill the flowers. Hey guys! Quick stats check, got ourselves 60 Slayer from this task, which is really cool. Currently killing jellies. They AFK'd ever so slightly too hard and died over in Karend. Did a bit of an oopsie there. But yeah, 60 Slayers, nice. Got ourselves Aberrant Spectres, and also I think that's the level for Fremenic Exiles, so we can slay Basilisk Knights and stuff eventually. Right guys, just here in Karend, just about to finish this jelly task, 2 left, and a superior warped jelly has appeared, so just going to kill this, hopefully we get something unique. A rune full helm, that's not bad. And a piece of the Dark Totem, which we won't keep. Because I don't think we're in a situation where we can kill Skatizo anyway, even if we had all 3 pieces. So yeah, 20k alk for that, it's not too bad, and obviously you get a nice little chunk of Slayer XP for killing those superiors, so can't complain. Alright guys, and here we are completing our 100th task for 450 Slayer points in one go, which is absolutely crazy. In the meantime, I have been trying to do farming and birdhouse runs, and also trying to do herb lore with whatever herb seeds and herbs we do get as drops. I'm just not really including it because it's not really that interesting. So real quick, with an abundance of Slayer points, I went back to the Slayer Master and spent some on Ring Bling, which is the skill unlock to craft Slayer rings. Now obviously crafting Slayer rings is 75 crafting, so it's a long way off, but we don't really have any other important permanent unlocks to spend our points on at this stage, so why not? And so I really quickly went and did another Hespori kill. That went fine. Did some more Slayer, did some troll tasks from Konar. Also did one of our lizard men tasks because we rolled one of those ever since unlocking it. I thought I'd go try the shamans, so I went to the Shazian combat ring and did the full set of Shazian tier 5 armor. This armor requires you to juggle the previous set while you fight the next tier of NPC, so you need about 10 inventory spaces to get this, so it's a bit of a pain. But then it turned out, even after I went to the shamans, that I was actually assigned lizardmen in the only spot in the game where there are no shamans. It's this very strange in-between swamp spot between the temple and the actual caves down here. It has to be the ones just in the middle, outside, so it doesn't include any shamans, so we couldn't actually do any. So going for that armor set was completely worthless. Got ourselves a second Xerix amulet, which is always nice because we can dismantle that and turn it into 100 charges for our amulet, which will serve us for a long, long time. So with that Lizardman task complete, we were now 62 Slayer, which was really good. That's the level for Worms. Really great task. Probably one of the best tasks in the game. Then I just did a really quick Tears of Gothics for the week. Got ourselves 51 smithing, which is always nice because we do need 70 smithing. Up next was the Cabin Fever quest. In completing the quest, we have access, obviously, to the Mostly Harmless Island, which is where we're going to get our Black Mask to make our Slayer Helm. Give us 15% more damage and accuracy on Slayer tasks. Going to grab this Slayer Helm and then we're going to go straight back to Slayer and knock these tasks out even quicker than we have been doing. So yeah, we could have technically gone and got this Black Mask 4 Slayer levels ago because it's only 58 to kill Cave Horrors, but I have been kind of chilling, relaxing a little bit, doing some easy tasks, semi-AFK, and I didn't obviously want to come and do this quest without being able to record it. So here we are doing it now, only a couple of levels late. I believe it's 1 in 512 from the Cave Horrors. Excuse me, sir, I'm attempting to sabotage your ship. If you could just not attack me for 2 minutes, that would be nice. So as well as fending off these evil pirates, we can also go over to their ship and just plunder it, which is kind of cool. Loot all the stuff they have, but it is quite a short quest, honestly. Like, it all takes place in this map, basically. So we go chuck our plunder into our plunder storage on our ship. I mean, they had the audacity to attack us first, so it's only fair that we go over there, take all their stuff, and then also sink them. Right, cannon time. So what we have to do, grab some gunpowder, as you might imagine. Of course, this entire time they don't shoot us or attempt to stop us in any way. But yeah, aside from access to the Cave Horrors and the subsequent pirate quest once we've also completed some others, I don't think we really get anything for this quest. I guess technically we have access to the Trouble Brewing minigame, which maybe we need to do for the Mauritania Diary. I'm not entirely sure. I've not really thought of that yet. And with that, the enemy pirates are sunk, we've got all their plunder in our chest, and we sail over to Mostly Harmless with Bill Teach. And we have a cheeky drink in the pirate pub just to celebrate. Okay, so here's our reward. Like I said, some XP, not going to get any levels, but nearly got us to 52 smithing because our smithing is rather low. So that's always nice. We'll just quickly talk to Bill Teach, get our 10k gold. I assume that's our split of the plunder, and we made it over here safely. So if we check on the map, this is the island of Mostly Harmless. You can actually charter ship here and back, so we can actually get here from, say, Brimhaven or Catherby docks. We do have those half-price ships now, which is really cool. And then over here is the Mostly Harmless Cave, which contains the Cave Horrors. Now, I'm not going to go in there and fight them immediately because I mistakenly didn't bring the Witchwood icon, which is the Slayer necklace you need to not take damage from the Cave Horror special attacks. So I think what I'll do is I'll go grab some alks, I'll go grab a Witchwood icon to equip round our neck, and then we'll come take a charter ship back, and we'll make a little dent into our grind towards the Slayer Helm. So cool. So yeah, hopefully we get this a lot sooner than 512 kills, because we are off task here. We're not gaining any Slayer XP by killing these. Yeah, and there's not really much else of note. There's a couple of low tier alkables, some myth, some addy, rune daggers, things that are worth like 1,000. They drop a fair few nature runes, so they'll probably stack up with the ones we already brought, which is nice. Oh no, I've just remembered we need a light source in here. As you may know, once you've completed all the troll quests, you can build a everlasting bonfire in this cave. And a lot of other caves around the game, which removes the need to bring a light source. so I completely forgot that we'd need one on this account. So, right, we're back. Here's the fire that you can build once you've completed the troll quests. And there's a hard task in the Mauritania diary for killing one of these, so that's kind of nice. So yeah, I'll just chill here, guys. Probably should have replaced my boots of stone, actually, but only missing out on 2 strength by not having the climbing boots, so it's really not the end of the world. Obviously just had to use these for Mount Karaloom Slayer tasks, so you don't get burned. So yeah, wish me luck. I'll see you in the next clip. Hopefully it's something exciting. It's not me dying in here or something stupid. Right guys, here's the state of things after our first trip of Cave Horrors. Not too bad drops, got ourselves 5 of these Insult Horror Heads. I think they're about 800 prayer XP each, so I'm going to go do those, get 4k prayer XP over at the Dark Altar. Got ourselves some Toadflax Seeds, I need one of those for the current farming contract over in the Farming Guild. Some Belladonna Seeds, you can use those for a diary. Poison Ivy Seed I can replace this bush with also for a different diary. 1 Ranor so we can make 1 more prayer pot. And a couple of noted logs, so decent stuff. Managed to kill 103 of them in our first trip, but we did bring about 5 or 6 prayer pots. So I'm going to go clean this inventory up, plant these things, raise these heads, re-gear and head straight back out there. Hey guys, 69 farming coming in, 1 more left for Quest Cape. That's actually a nice level because we can +3 boost to plant one of these Calquat seeds that I'm carrying around with us. Do have a garden pie there on the floor, so I'm going to go try do that. I don't have the poison ivy berries to protect it, so it might die, but if it does survive, then it'll be a nice chunk of XP towards 70, so that's really good. Whoa, guys, here we are killing Cave Horrors. Just hit 75 HP, here are the stats. Haven't been doing range the whole time while I've been here. Just switched over now that I've run out of supplies, because we are out of prayer potions on the account, and also we're out of Ranors. Could obviously go plant some more, do some thieving or something, get some seeds, but really would rather just knock this Black Mask out. We're currently at 422 kills, so obviously at any point we could get the drop, so I'm just going to relax, watch some videos. I found this kind of semi-safe spot. As you saw, sometimes the bats hit you, but most of the time it's kind of safe. So it's got us a hard clue that's potentially doable, an Edgeville step. I've already dropped 4 that weren't doable, but hey, maybe we can also get a hard clue out of this, so... Also been running around just picking our herbs, making them into whatever potions I could, so we're now at 52 herb lore, which is the level for super energies, which is kind of nice. I also did a tiny little bit of thieving, just pushed us over 59, so 1 more level for Quest Cape. So really not in a rush to do thieving anytime soon. So let's crack this hard clue, see what we get. Last time we got the MSB and some rune items. Best thing I think we could probably get is some Blessed D'hide, just to give us some magic defense against the Cave Horrors magic melee, so let's see. What am I looking at here? A rune cane, some gold blue D'hide chaps, and a magic comp bow. 13 sharks is nice. We will have to use those up. Probably on the Cave Horrors in combat. Blue D'hide G, I mean, they're not really very impressive because we can pull regular blue D'hide from implings and they do have the same stats. And then a magic comp bow is certainly worse than an MSB. It does look a lot cooler though, doesn't it? Wow. Even though it's about 10 feet from the character's hand. So yeah, not really very impressive stuff from that one. Probably alk most of it. We'll keep the sharks, and I guess we'll keep the blue D'hide chaps G just to use for the magic defense. And then these other 3 items will just alk. So a bit of a letdown, but I can't really complain about that one. Wow, just use the teleport over to Troubled Brewing. I've never seen it this populated. Maybe there's a clan event on. So guys, just heading back to the Cave Horrors here, I just went to check to see if we can actually enter Trouble Brewing to play a game, because you do need to complete a full game for the medium Mauritania diary. Now, it seems like you can only get in if you have absolutely no items in your character or your inventory. I think we'll just unnote these sharks from our clue scroll, just head back to Cave Horrors and not worry about this for now. But it was strange there was actually a whole team in here. Maybe it was a clan event or some friends helping someone get the diary. So I guess it is technically possible to join a game these days. Morning gamers, it's another day at Cave Horrors. Yes, we're ranging. Shut up. That was Cave Horror 539, so you might say we're somewhat dry on the 512 Black Mask, but that's okay. Got ourselves a little bit of prayer XP from this little grind here, trying to bury as many big bones as I can, and as you can see we've hit 53 prayers, so I think we've got 2 levels, primarily from doing the in-sold heads every time I leave to resupply. But hopefully we get this today, and then we can crack on with some actual Slayer tasks on the account. So hope you guys are well. I'm having a hoot of a time over here. Hey guys, called it quits for now on the cave horrors. We did 617. Just doing a tree run now. We're actually doing quite well on our farming XP. We're only 29,000 off level 70, which is the quest cape level for Song of the Elves. Just running around checking our trees because we've got quite a few palm trees and pineapples planted, as well as our calquat ready from before. So I've gained pretty much half a level from this tree run, so barely anything left, just a handful more trees, and we'll be at that level 70. We can stop worrying so much about our farming XP. Obviously we'll still be planting snapegrass, ranars, and any other herbs that create functional potions for us down the line. But I'm not going to be super concerned about going for every tree. We can focus our energies a little bit more elsewhere, like going horribly dry for unique combat items. Right guys, we're almost back to cave horrors, I promise. Just finishing off a little bit more stuff. Just resupplying, because we've only got 400 of our steel arrows left, so what I'm doing is I'm just making a batch of 1400 broad arrows, which is just enough, as you can see here, to push us to 65 fletching. So that's finally the level to start making yew bows. We can also make diamond addy bolts, which is cool, I guess, if we ever decide to use those. And that means that we're only 4 more levels away from 69 to make ourselves the rune crossbow. Obviously we can get the unstrung version from a boss over on Fossil Island without needing to enter the wilderness, so that will be our port of call when it comes to needing a crossbow. And obviously we've already unlocked broader fletching. We can just go buy broad bolts and get a rune crossbow, and we'll actually have some decent range DPS should we need it. So yeah, just going to wait for this maple seedling to finish growing, plant it here in Lumbridge, then clear out the invent, go straight back to Cave Horrors, and then the next clip I will have the Black Mask. Dude, there it is! Black Mask 10, our first kill back! Hell yeah! 618 KC. I'm just going to get straight out of it. For safety. And then we can obviously combine it with a bunch of items from any Slayer Master shop, and then we may decide to imbue it later, which will also give us the accuracy and damage bonuses on task to our ranged and mage skills as well. I haven't done Poor Scene of Interest, so there's no need to buy the weird goggles. That's cool. It will also give us the ability to check our Slayer task progress. There it is, a Slayer helm. Oh, that's unbelievable. I'm so happy with that. Really glad it didn't take like 2 solid days to get this, because I feel like we spent quite a lot of hours just messing about with Cave Horrors. Currently set at 62 Slayer, as you may remember. Really chuffed to have this gear upgrade. Probably going to alk the Helm of Netersnot, because we're not going to be doing any more meleeing on Slayer task without this helm equipped. So yeah, it's a 15% extra accuracy and damage bonus against all Slayer targets. So really essential item to have. Yeah, back to the grind then. Right guys, that's our Black Demon task complete. First task with our Slayer helm. Here are the stats currently, still 62 Slayer. But we've made a nice little dent towards 63. Obviously once again going for 69 for Monkey Madness 2 and Quest Cape. And then further levels after that for other things. I'm very close to 70 farming. So I'm just going to go randomly pick these Snapdragons to get 70 farming. There it is, sorry about the flash, I've had that on for AFK. So that's 70 farming, the level we need for Song of the Elves. We can now grow poison ivy bushes unboosted. Obviously we've been growing them boosted because we are using those to protect calquats. Yeah, we don't really unlock anything else, but that is the last farming level we need to do in order to secure our quest cape. Obviously there's still some more unlocks coming up. Obviously the higher tier herbs we still need more levels for, and the other rooms in the farming guild specifically we need 85 for. And also at 83 we can start planting spirit trees, so if we do get to 80 then we can plant a spirit tree with that garden pie. Might even be worth doing it at 78 with a +5 stew and messing about with all that, because spirit trees are just that good. That's our farming complete. I'm just going to go straight back to Slayer once I've resupplied and stocked up. Currently killing brine rats. It's going great. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a hiatus on doing Konar tasks, because actually I've had to skip quite a few recently. She keeps assigning really high defense monsters that the D-skim just isn't cutting it for, and the loot I've been getting from the Konar keys has been, honestly, I wouldn't say atrocious, but it's been really bad. A lot of unusable seeds, really low alkables, just things like noted iron ore that I'm not going to smith into iron bars. So for now I think we're going to take a break from Konar, probably move to Steve, but I just want some lower defense level targets to kill so we can get better XP per day. Oh cool, got ourselves a combat task there, doing our first ever worm task. We're going to be burying all the bones we can remember too. The main thing you can get here on task is a 1 in 2,000 dragon harpoon, which technically we could put our smouldering stone onto, but we would need 85 cooking to do that, and I don't think I'm going to go all the way to 85 just for the meme of having an infernal harpoon. The other drops here, yeah, like I say, just alcohols. You can get some noted pure essence, you can get some seeds and herbs as you can everywhere else. Couple of different kinds of runes, but yeah, we should make a little bit of cash from this task, and it's very chill. It's just downstairs beneath Konar. There's 63 Slayer coming in. So with 63 Slayer, obviously we can go kill Spiritual Rangers if we decide to, if we ever want to get our MSB back, if we do need to get rid of it. Just got ourselves a pair of red D-hide chaps. I think they're about 1 in 26 or something. They're actually 3 range better than our gilded blue chaps, so we're going to say goodbye to these, even though they are hella stylish. But also they have, 4 more magic defense, so really, really good upgrade there, especially if you're doing things like this, where they actually attack with magic. Oh nice, another prayer level coming in, there's 54. What I've been doing is I've just been using any bones that I have left over from a Slayer task, just on the POH altar here, and that's just if I was going to leave any way to resupply. I try and stack up as many bones just to take home as possible. There's another level closer to Chivalry. Not done King's Ransom yet. There's not really a lot of point because we don't have the level for Chivalry or Piety yet. So anyway, back to slaying. Just gonna go resupply and then yeah, yada 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 yada. You get it by now. Hey guys, just doing some temple treks here to see if it's any good for the Slayer XP books. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's just some random UIM told me to try it, so I tried it. I mean, you do get some XP and you get some XP and some other stuff, but it is kind of frustrating to constantly get the one where you have to use the stick to cross the mud. That one kind of means we have to tally out and start a new trek. Not really too fussed, we'll just do Slayer in the normal way. We've got a Slayer helm, and we've only got a couple of levels to go, so it was good to try. What I am going to do, however, now that our fletching is 65, we can do U short bows, is just grab about 1500 or 1600 bowstrings. If you have a look here, this is the rewards interface from temple trekking. We can select bowstring, and we're given noted bowstrings around 100 each time, so I'm just going to do a couple of treks just to get about 1600 bowstrings total, and then we're going to go sit ourselves at the woodcutting guild, just chop some U's, and use all 1600 bowstrings on U short bows, and that'll get our fletching all the way from 65 to 69, and then we'll be able to make that rune crossbow I've been talking about for so long. Because I'm not going to use a spicy stew for that, it's too much work, and I like fletching anyway, so I'll be happy to get the skill up 4 levels. And I'll take some alks with us and our rune axe, and this full lumberjack outfit that I've saved from doing the bridge event during temple trekking, just to get a little bit more woodcutting XP, because cutting 1500 U logs will definitely push us up past 75, so we will have access to magic logs in future when we need to get some for desert treasure, things like that, without having to go to Implings, so that'll be convenient as well. So yeah, I feel like this is just a nice little grind, take a little break from Slayer, then we'll have reason to go kill Deranged Archaeologist over on Fossil Island. He also drops the black D-hide top, so that'll be some more range gear for us, along with our red legs. So once we've got a rune crossbow and a black D-hide top, then we'll actually have some okay range gear. That's a little ways off. Do want to do Underground Pass first, get the upgraded Ivan's staff, and then Ivan's blast the guy with that nice 25 max hit that spell offers. Just got ourselves 75 woodcutting, as I thought we would. Got ourselves 1 fletching level so far, super close to 67, so almost 2 levels. As you can see, we've made a little bit of cash, I think over 100k so far. Like I say, just making U shorts, unnoting these bowstrings just on the bank in this little shed, then alking the resulting bows. So level 75 means we can now chop down magic trees, there's a bunch in here, but when we do need some, say for desert treasure, then we can just come chop some anywhere, instead of going back to Implings, so that's cool. Hey guys, here we are just coming to the end of our 69 fletching grind here. Quite a nice one, as you can see we made quite a lot of money doing this, got ourselves what, like 400k maybe? But there's the level for rune crossbows, so that's a really nice level to have, we can go get one now. As you can see, we also got like 2 full woodcutting levels, so we made some money and we got some skill ups, so that was nice. So anyway, that's enough messing about with fletching. I did end up going back to Slayer just a little bit, just because I wasn't really in a position to record myself doing any quests, and obviously Slayer is a lot more AFK. So I nipped back to do some Slayer, did some Bloodveld tasks, things like that, ended up with this hard casket, so cracked that open and got a nice bunch of alkables. Next thing, we headed over to do some of our insold heads from the Bloodveld task, and we picked up 55 prayer from this. As you can see in the invent, I am using the Mind Bomb beers because we can now boost, because we casted so many alks during our fletching grind that we actually got up to 69 mage, which means the Mind Bomb pushes us up to the 72 for expert reanimation or whatever it's called. So with a boost we can now do all those silly heads like Dagonoths, Bloodvelds and stuff. As you may notice, I still have the unimbued Slayer helm. I was kind of tossing up the options because I think there's like 3 ways you can imbue things now. There's the classic Nightmare Zone way, which is obviously probably the way we're going to go, and then you can either do Soul Wars or PvP Arena. Now, supposedly the new PvP Arena update's quite quick to get an imbue. You get 12 points if you lose a game, and it's 200 points to imbue a Slayer Helm, so it would only be something like 16 games or something. But I feel like because that takes place on a different server where we're playing a different character, and we don't have all our items with us, it's kind of almost feels like cheating. So I'm probably not going to do our imbue that way. Probably just go to Nightmare Zone. Obviously the other option is Soul Wars, but to get into Soul Wars, you're not allowed any non-combat items with you, so we're probably going to not be allowed in with a lot of the stuff we have on this character, so I really wouldn't want to lose half our key items just to play some Soul Wars. So I think for the Slayer Helm, the way to go is going to be, sadly, the classic long Nightmare Zone grind. But that's okay, I don't really mind it, it's relatively AFK. Anyway, yeah, nothing from that superior, so just on with the task. Only 29 left, then we're going to take a break from Slayer and do some questing. Just a huge level coming in, that's 70 range. Unlocks just so many range things, not least Black D-Hide armor and Carol's armor from Barrows, but also a slew of weapons such as the Crystal Bow. But yeah, 70 is a really, really massive level, along with 70 defense. Now if we go to Barrows and we get any Carol's pieces, we'll be able to equip those and use them, which will be really cool. Obviously, like I say, I am going to get the Iban's Blast first and then get the Rune Crossbow after, just so we have those switches for the other brothers. Yeah, that's where we are. Nice 70s in all combats now, except Mage. We're only 7,000 XP off, but with just like 120 alks or something, we'll be at 70 Mage as well. So we're looking good, nearly 76 hit points. Would like to get our Mage up to 72 so we can do these Insult Heads without a boost. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of a combat check in there, so just going to finish this task off, and then I'm going to do Underground Pass, because I've been talking about it for what's probably now accounting towards months on the channel, and then hopefully, if that goes really well, we'll do Regicide as well today. Right guys, here we are in West Ardee. We've got an inventory full of sharks, pretty much, and then the quest items just here at the bottom, and we're going to go do the Underground Pass. Now, you may remember we started the Underground Pass technically many episodes back, quite near the start. Again, we do have 72 agility, so hopefully we don't fail too many of the obstacles. But oh well, it shouldn't be too bad. There's not too much combat that requires us to pray in this quest. Mainly we have to go downstairs and fight the spider, but I made a conscious effort to get our combat level high enough so the small spiders don't aggro on us. So we should actually just be able to safe spot the big spider with range, and also most of the greater demons partway through near the witch's house, we should also be able to safe spot those with range. So shouldn't need to pray too much, so that's okay. So yeah, you can do this quest a lot earlier. It is actually quite a low-level quest, technically. The only requirements are obviously do the 2 prerequisite quests, and I think have 25 range. But if you have a number of things, such as thieving or good agility, then it unlocks several small shortcuts throughout the Underground Pass, and makes it a little bit less painful. Now, as you may see over there, I still have tile markers down from the last time I did this on a different character. But for those of you not in the know, just coming up there is a little mesh grid, and basically it's a randomly generated path per character across this grid. And since we do need to come back through this pass a second time in future, once we have found the solution here, I'll just take a screenshot and save it in the folder. There used to be a method to do this while opening some kind of interface, so you wouldn't fall in. It was kind of a glitch, but that has been patched, so that's no longer possible. Sometimes you can fail this quite a lot of times, and it does mean that you should probably leave and fully heal and resupply and come back. Because as you see, it does hurt you for about 15 whenever you do fall in this trap. Although that said, we're doing incredibly well so far. Hopefully it's this one and we're straight across. Wow, that wasn't bad. Okay, we only fell once, so I'm not going to leave. Now, there are a few locations during this quest where you can resupply. I believe there's a crate after this segment just down the well that has some like meat pies in or something. And then partway through you can talk to some friendly paladins who you do eventually kill, but if you speak to them first you can get food from them. And then a little bit later there's also a dwarf outpost where we can buy some kind of food. I think it's a beer or something that heals health for coins. So there's a couple of ways during this quest to get a few more supplies, so if you do come here at a lower level, you'll be able to survive that way by supplying up during it. So what we do here is we grab some light orbs, and with these orbs he wants you to collect them, but instead you destroy them. So we just head to the furnace and burn these evil orbs, and then we're able to hop down this well to the next floor. Okay, so we've destroyed the evil orbs and now we can climb down the well. Now interestingly, the quest helper doesn't tell you about this crate of food that's just off to the side here. It's not highlighted or anything, but we will just search it. just take these salmons and these pies and just eat up to full. It's not even on screen as an optional objective, so it is really strange. Maybe they didn't know about it. Now this next bit is a really infamous, annoying agility shortcut that you can always fall off repeatedly and lose a bunch of your health and supplies and be sent backwards. But really what you should do is just never do this quest until you have 50 thieving, and then you can just skip it. Oh, please tell me I can do this one without a lockpick. Yes, excellent. Now what we have to do is we have to start obeying Ivan's mysterious whispers, just so he lets us further into the pass. One thing we have to do is use this crowbar on this boulder to roll down this hill and kill this poor unicorn. So we just run past these zombies. Not going to kill these, we're not Turtletail, we're not playing Terran 1 only and training our smithing in here. However, shout out that guy for probably my favourite series, probably second just to Swampletics. I hope he comes back, because Terran 1 only was really, really interesting. So I guess his friends just look on ineptly as we kill him. And there we go, there's Paladin's badge 1. Okay, there we go, they're all dead, so I'll just grab this meat pie before it despawns. So what we should be able to do is just use the horn and all the badges on this. And Ivan will be super happy with us, and he'll open his big spooky skull door. So now what we need to do to get rid of Ivan is to seek the help of a witch who lives in this cave. But to get her help, we're going to have to retrieve her cat that's gone missing. Don't want to jinx it, but so far we haven't failed any of these little agility hops. So now we're on friendly terms with the witch, we can search her chest and grab some things. So now what we do is we go grab 3 amulets from 3 greater demons, I believe, that just live over there. So we're going to try and save as much prayer as possible by safe spotting the ones that we can, just so we don't have to go into melee with them. Just a quick recap on this Slayer we've been doing this episode. Did start the episode with 50, we have got ourselves to 64, which is a nice level, 5 more left for the Questscape because we need 69 for Monkey Madness 2. Next level we will unlock Dust Devils, which are one of the best tasks in the game for any account at any stage. They're excellent Slayer XP, they're excellent Mage XP, they have excellent alchable drops, stackable dust runes which will make for really, really good house teleports for us, all sorts of amazing stuff, one of the best tasks. Speaking of good tasks, we have spent Slayer points so far on extending Bloodvelds, because Bloodvelds are always nice. But yeah, we've completed 220 Slayer tasks so far in a row. Got ourselves really more Slayer points already than we need. We'll just be using most of them for skips. Obviously most players would use them for a herb bag and a rune pouch, which are 2 things that we are not allowed to use on this account. It just means we got all our unlocks a little bit quicker than we normally would. Awesome, so we're able to turn in all 3 of these amulets in order to open this locked magic chest. That gets rid of all 3 amulets, and it imbues our gloves with some kind of spell. And now we need to head back downstairs to the dwarves. So if there ever was a time when you wanted to fall one of these agility obstacles, it would be now, because it would actually get us downstairs a little bit quicker. But obviously, sod's law, that's probably not going to happen. What we do is we buy some incredibly strong alcohol from these guys, and we use it as a kind of fire lighter. We chuck it on Ivan's coffin, which is down here, and we burn his evil remains. Here's the giant spider that we prepared for a long time ago at Fossil Island Crabs. Now normally this is single combat, and when you come in here every one of these small spiders is aggressive to you, and they tag you off before you can attack the boss. But with our combat level we are able to avoid the natural aggro of those guys and actually target the boss and kill him. So what we've been doing is creating an effigy doll of Ivan and enchanting it in various ways. So we use those 3 amulets from the demons in order to put an enchantment on these gloves. And then with the gloves equipped we are able to go downstairs and burn Ivan's tomb in order to put some ashes on this doll. And then we killed that giant spider to put some evil spider juice on this doll. Now we need to do one final thing, re-equip our Clank's gauntlets and go into one of these prisoner cages here and have one of the prisoners, I think, try and bite us or something, but with the gloves on, our hands are protected, and maybe they bite the doll or something instead. Let's have a look. So this should be the final step to enchant this doll, and then when that's done we'll do a series of these agility hops over into the middle of the dungeon, past all the disciples of Ivan, and with this disguise and our Ivan voodoo doll, we're able to enter the boss room, start the boss fight, and what we do is we just chuck Ivan's doll directly into his well. He's defeated with the powers of voodoo. And we should be able to run to the end and find our good friend Koftik, who has technically been with us through this whole underground pass. We've just been ignoring him and not speaking to him. He's been slowly going crazy to the whispers, but his mind is now freed. He's back to normal. So he teleports us back to the entrance so we can also leave and go to the king. So that was underground pass. Honestly, super painless. Didn't fail any random agility obstacles. We just failed the little maze at the start once and took like 15 damage. So we could drop our Ivan staff and reclaim it from Koftik, but if you do that, you get a broken one back, which means you have to pay 200k in order to turn it into the regular Ivan staff. In addition to the 200k you need to pay to overcharge it, which we're going to do. So I'm not going to drop it because 200k is a lot of money, and I think we can get away with keeping this during Regicide. Now famously, Ivan's staff gives you access to the Ivan Blast spell. It does super high damage for its level. It's something like 25 maybe. The only downside is each time you cast, you use one charge of your Ivan's staff, and then when it runs out of charges, you do need to go back to the Underground Pass to recharge it in the well, or you can pay like 200k, but I don't know why you'd pay the money. Once you've completed Regicide, you can go into the Underground Pass from the back door. It's much shorter, so it's definitely not worth paying the money once you've done Regicide. Anyway, here's King Lathas, so let's talk to him, complete the quest, and there we go, Underground Pass complete. We get ourselves 5 quest points, which is kind of crazy, and then only 3k in attack and agility, and the Ivan's Blast spell. So that's awesome. Let's just continue the conversation with the king immediately so we can begin the Regicide quest. I'm just going to overcharge this Ivan's staff over at the wizard for the 200k. For 200k it'll hold 2,500 charges instead. And we've done a medium task in the RD diary. So like I say, I'll just go have a look at what things we need to bring, and we'll go power through Regicide and kill some elves. So basically what we do for this first part of the quest, up to the part where we need to go come back to the civilized world and make a barrel bomb, is we head through the Underground Pass to the Elven lands, we meet some elf NPCs, and we agree to make a bomb to kill the captain of the humans over there. And then once we're in task with making the barrel bomb, we do leave, we come back to the civilized world, we head to Rimington, we gather some items like limestone and coal, we put them into a bomb making machine, and then we make ourselves a bomb, we come back through, and then we launch the bomb at the bad guy, and then it's quest complete. And then with that done, we are able to travel over to the Elven lands from charter ships, which will primarily be the way we'll get there. Or if you have 76 agility, you're able to take a fairy ring over there and hop over a shortcut, which is always really nice to have. It's a really nice level to get. So we've made our way through the pass finally. So what we're going to do now is make our way across these forest traps. Going to do a little bit of work for some elves. So what we do is we run up here. Here we are in the Elflands. Let's just take a look at the map real quick. It's quite a confusing place to look at if you just look at the map, but if you've been here before, it's relatively simple. So this is where we come out of the Underground Pass. Once we've completed this quest, we can also use this pathway which leads up to north of Ardy near the Grand Tree. We can just come here through this door near the outpost. There's a series of agility shortcuts to make it a little bit quicker, and we can get into Taranan that way, or we can pay to use the charter ship over here, which goes to any other charter ship place in the game, for example Brimhaven, Catherby, all those ones we've already been using, and it will be half price because we have completed that pirate quest. And then if we do get that 76 agility I mentioned earlier, we can fairy ring over to near Zulra, and then we can just run up and get back to the Elflands that way. So there's a lot of ways to get here that you can unlock later. So we talk to Lord Iorwerth himself. So we're in task by Lord Iorwerth to return to the forest and speak to his elven tracker, but he wants proof that we're actually working for Lord Iorwerth. Because we're a human, he suspects us to be part of the Tyrus Camp faction, so he's suspicious of us. So we just have to do some RuneScape quest busy work where we run back up to Lord Iorwerth up at the top, and he gives us a necklace, I believe. So we go back and speak to the tracker and say, hey, we can't get through this dense forest, and then he teaches us how to do so. So now we can use any of these dense forest shortcuts that we see around the place. So we've basically unlocked the full Taranan forest area from this point forward in the quest. So what we do here is we run away from this scary guard. I think we can safe spot him behind these mushrooms. Should be okay because we have got an MSB and 70 range at this point. So that guy went down a lot quicker than that giant ape during Monkey Madness, if you remember shooting him with the maple bow and the steel arrows. Good times. Okay, so here we have a tripwire trap, which I always misclick on because they're really small, and that's why we bring a super anti-poison with us, just to protect us from the poison of those silly traps. Shouldn't be any more combat now for the entire rest of the quest. It's just that one guard that you have to kill. So what we do here is we grab 2 barrels, as we're going to need to make some bombs. So we now have to fill up the barrels with tar, so we head over to just the north end of the Zulra swamp down here, and that tar will be one of the ingredients we need to make our barrel bomb. Grab ourselves some sulfur from the ground. Okay, so we have some of the basic ingredients to create some barrel bombs here, but sadly we don't have the knowledge to fully complete them. So what we're going to do is just run back up to Lord Iorwerth in the elf camp up north, And what he should do is give us a big book of bangs, which is basically a bomb making manual. Okay, there we are. Now we're at the stage where we have to leave and make our bombs. So I'll teleport over to the lumberyard. And then what we do need is a pestle and mortar and a pot. Right, okay, next we need to use the limestone on a furnace, making sure we have some gloves equipped. And then we can also grind the sulfur. So now we have a pot of quicklime and some ground sulfur. So what I'll do now is I'll quickly grab as many pieces of coal as I can fit in my inventory. It looks like 12. Should be a lot quicker with a rune pick, even considering the travel time up here. Then we'll go to the Remington Chemist and see if we can somehow make this barrel bomb in one go. Still not quite sure why it told us to make 2. It may be that the quest guide defaults to telling you how to make 2 because you need one for Morning's End as well. But we're not doing Morning's End today, so just going to make the 1 bomb if that is all that's required. Right guys, we're back at the still. Supposedly we can do this with 3 to 5 coal. The guide actually recommends 9 on the wiki, so we've got 12. Shouldn't be too hard to do. I've just watched an absolutely epic video that played I'm Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die while telling me how to do this in Comic Sans, so that's cool. So what we need to do here is just click this twice, and then once the needle hits the green, we click this once, and that stops it in the green. And then all we do is add 2 or 3 pieces of coal, and if it goes down, we just add another coal. So if we don't go crazy, we should get through it with 1 more coal, I believe. There we go, got our barrel. Scary stuff. We still have all this other junk that I'm not really sure about, but this general store down here sells balls of wool, if you didn't know. It's also right next to a bank, so if you're some kind of weird Ironman that needs lots of balls of wool banked, then come get them here. We're just going to buy 4, well 5 and drop 1, and then we're going to head to a loom, create ourselves the fuse for our bomb. And there we go, that's the completed barrel bomb. So now we need to get a whole bunch of stuff together once again, just to get through the underground pass. What we can do is we can head home and grab a spade, and then we'll teleport with our jewellery box over to the anti-poison spawn, pick that up again. So I'll get the items together and I'll see you guys back at the underground pass. Alright guys, here we are at the very end of the underground pass, completely uneventful. Anyway, here we are back in Taranen. So what we need to do now is give a cooked rabbit to the guard north of the Tyrus camp. Here we go, just over the trap. There are actually some rabbits just here, so we should be able to shoot one. Could have chopped some logs here, but I just brought a log just in case. So here's the catapult guard. Give him a cooked rabbit. Obviously he's a comically fat guy, so I guess he goes off to eat his lunch, and then we can just use the bomb once this barrel fires into the camp, causes some havoc. Don't really feel good about this, but hopefully these guys were bad, so we'll just dart past a couple more traps, head to Lord Iorwerth, and then scoot back over to Ardy, and it'll be quest complete, so I'll see you there. Okay, so we attempt to go back to the king, and we're intercepted by the elf Arianwin. And Arianwin basically tells us that the king is bad, so we talk to the king. So there's Regicide, huge quest out the way, 15k coins, 13,000 agility XP, access to Taranen, and 3 quest points. We also get the access to the charter ships, we get access to the shortcut. So yeah, that's Underground Pass and Regicide, which is basically just Underground Pass Part 2 complete. Relatively painless for us, just had to do a little bit of inventory juggling, but now we've got access to the Elven lands. So we're really happy to have those ones out the way, because they are kind of spooky. Right guys, and with those 2 quests done, I'm going to call this episode complete here. We made a whole bunch of progress in this video, even though we only completed 5 quests technically. We got ourselves a bunch of combat levels because we did so much Slayer. Got 14 Slayer levels done. It knocked us up 6 whole combat levels. Notably, we got our ranged up to 70, and our mages super close to 70, and a bunch of prayer levels, which is always nice. And we got a bunch of skills done for the quest cape. We finished hunter and farming now, which is really good. We grabbed ourselves that 69 fletching so we can go make our rune crossbow. Now that we have our Iban's Blast, there's nothing stopping us, so I'll probably go grab that next episode. Speaking of things for next episode, we've got our Slayer helm now, but we do want this imbuing, so we're going to take a look at imbuing this in the next one. We unlocked a bunch of Slayer stuff through this massive grind here. Got ourselves broad fletching Slayer rings, the Slayer helm unlock itself, we got superiors, we got lizardmen tasks, and we also paid to extend our bloodvelve tasks. Picked up that magic shortbow from a hard clue, also got some red d'hide chaps from those worms, and we got ourselves the Iban's Blast upgraded from doing Underground Pass. We also got access to Shiloh Village by doing Shiloh Village, as well as a new gnome glider and a bunch of other stuff from doing one small favour. We built the gilded altar in our house, which is going to really help our prayer going forward, and we got 14 Slayer levels, like I said, which have unlocked up to 8 new Slayer tasks in between those 2 levels, so that's awesome. And obviously we also did Hobgoblin Champion Scrolls, so we have the Champions Challenge music tracks at least. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Had a lot of fun with this one, a lot of grinding in it, a whole lot of Slayer. In the next episode, I would like to upgrade our Slayer helm, ideally, and also probably finish off our Slayer. That'd be good. Try and get all the way to 69 in the next one. Hopefully do some good tasks along the way, because we do unlock Dust Devils and things in one more level. And if you guys have any feedback or comments or suggestions, because I know I'm not the best at the game, feel free to help me out by dropping it as a comment below. I do check them all out. Leave a like and sub if you want, and regardless, I will see you guys in the next episode. So be good, and look after yourselves. Okay, bye.